So, welcome to our first edition of Two Aging Guys podcast. My name is Ian Ish, and this is my co-star Lucas Faria. And our first attempt that probably no one will ever listen to this, Lucas, but here we are. We're two aging guys, and we decided to start a podcast. So, I guess we got to tell a little bit about ourselves to start. So, what is it about you, and what do you do for a living, and what kind of hobbies you have, and what's going to be so unique about this podcast, would you say?
I think the most unique part about the podcast will be that it's us. It's our lives. I think no one else has our lives. They'll probably have things they relate to, which I think is the point of it. But we run into our own unique situations and we'll talk about them. We'll talk about how things happening in the world affect us or our families, or maybe don't affect us, that probably affect other people. And you're right. It might be just for the two of us. Maybe our kids will watch when we're old and laugh at us, but maybe people will get something out of it and then they'll start joining when we do it live or commenting, and then we can kind of build on that. As
Yeah,
for me, I'm 37, live in Southern California. I have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old. I'm coming up on my 15th year of marriage this year. Whew.
15.
I work in tech, I guess you would say. I lead kind of a sales strategy and analytics and operations group. And I studied math growing up, and then I just kind of rolled into that. I'm a big sports and video game fan, and I love food.
Yeah,
How about
I
you?
like it. No, I think it's so cool. I love that you said that maybe our kids will watch this someday because really, there's nothing else to do right now in 2021. We're actually taking this pandemic seriously. I don't know if everyone that will listen to this do, but it gets boring and you don't have a lot of times to talk to. And I am 36, almost 37, and I have 3 kids, all girls,
Ooh,
and 8-year-old and twin 6-year-old. So outside of things, when you're stuck in a house, man, it gets crazy. And I'm in Ohio and it's freezing cold outside. It's 5 degrees and I don't get the weather. So this is going to be fun for me as well. I'm a huge sports fan. I love all Ohio sports. I love the Browns are my main passion, but I'm a Buckeye fan, Indians fan. They're having a new name here soon, which is cool as well. Um, and I like video games as well. And I also like to barbecue, probably is my other hobby that I like a lot. I actually just threw on some ribs for the Super Bowl. So I'm going to have some nice ribs cooking for about 4 or 5 hours to devour right before the game.
yeah. For everyone listening out there, one of my secret agendas for getting this started is I'm hoping that we do a bunch of podcasts on barbecuing so I can learn. So I think you'll learn over time with us is we have different skills and different things that we can learn a lot from each other and probably from people out there, and that's part of the fun too. Like, I know over the weeks as we dive into your background, Ian, we'll probably learn more about how you picked up barbecuing, where that skill comes from, the trial and error and all that good stuff. and
Yeah,
and I can weave in why I've never picked it up, and and the trial and error with those parts of life.
that's awesome. Yeah, we'll find out all that stuff. So this is gonna be fun. We're gonna keep these podcasts for probably that 20 to no longer than 30 minute. We know everybody's busy, and if anyone does listen to this, I'm sure they don't want to hear us ramble for more than 30 minutes. But today, I would say the biggest theme everybody's going on is the Super Bowl. It's one of my favorite days of the year. My team, the Cleveland Browns, have never made it to the Super Bowl, but I just love everything about it. I love the food. I love the family. I love the Super Bowl squares. I love the fantasy aspect. Um, what are your thoughts on Super Bowl overall?
Listen, I'm with you. My Vikings right here. I'm wearing the Adrian
I
Peterson
like it.
jersey. Have also never won a Super Bowl. Now they've been to four
Yes.
before my lifetime, but have never won one. So I wear that badge as well. But I love the day. The food's great. The squares, the DraftKings, just about anything you can get your hands into. You can lose money faster than AMC.
Yeah. Oh, nice. A little AMC jab. And you'll hear about that too. I may have invested a little bit of money in AMC and lost my everything this week. But to do that, one of the fun things is prop bets. So I'm gonna share my screen here.
Ooh, I'm
All
excited.
right. So here we have some prop bets for the Super Bowl. All right. So
Wow.
these are kind of fun. So we're gonna go through a couple of these. I'm not gonna go through every single one of these, but I actually have a paper, Lucas. So I'm gonna keep track of our prop bets to see who wins.
Perfect.
And
Let's do
I
it.
don't know what it's gonna mean, but if you win, we'll make sure I get something, and if I win, I get something. So we'll make that happen.
It sounds like both ways you got something.
That was my goal. I mean, I'm very, very tricky.
I got you.
All right, let's start with the basic one. Who's gonna win the coin toss? The Chiefs or it's heads or tails. So it's gonna be heads or tails.
Listen, I'm a tails guy every time.
Okay. I'm actually gonna go heads on that one. So make it easy on us here. Let's go some fun ones on here. What do you think the total punts by both teams? Will you think it'd be over or under 6.5 total punts for the game?
Under. Easy.
Under.
You should put all your AMC money on that one. It'll get it all back.
I think it's going to be under as well. I think both of these coaches are super aggressive on fourth down as well. And you have Mahomes and Brady. So why would you not go for it, if you have four downs?
I got a question for you. Do you have the ability to bet on this? Because in California, we still don't have like the DK Sportsbook or any way to bet online.
No, in Ohio, we can't either. They don't believe in gambling.
I was going to say, we should pick our, these are our top 5 and each put like $10 in and parlay them. We could send it to Nick.
We should. Maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe Nick will be one of our listeners. We'll do that. We'll make sure that we put a little skin on the game on this bad boy.
We'll probably bring Nick in sometimes as our bookie.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Especially if this goes viral and it's like, it's not allowed to do that or whatever. But anyhow, I'm kind of glad that gambling's not in Ohio because I already spent enough money on DraftKings. I'm not sure I can handle another area to spend money in.
Yeah, I want to switch it from DraftKings to money game bets. That's where I think I would go. In theory, in my head, instead of doubling down.
It seems like it's even a little bit more skill oriented, I think, in my head. So it's good. Here's a fun one. Tom Brady's total rushing yards, over or under a half of a yard?
I'm going to go over because I think he is going to have at least one QB sneak. Now, if you get sacked, does that take away the yards?
It does not.
No, he's going to go over.
In college football, rushing yards count for sacks, but not in.
There will be a 4th and inches, a 4th and goal, whatever you can think about there, and he'll do that sneak, and he'll get it every time.
Good podcasts and good things go back and forth, but I have to agree with you on that one. He's like the king of the QB sneak, especially for a touchdown. So I see that going on. Let's see here. Will either team register a safety? Let me go first. Let me go first.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's going to be a big no for me. I don't want to seem like I'm just copying you. It seems like every year something weird like that happens, but I don't think a safety will happen this year.
It's one of my favorite prop bets for the Super Bowl because it's always a long shot. And I don't remember, it was a few years back. It might have been the Steelers-Cardinals one where I think I had bet that as a prop bet and it hit. It was the first score of the game was a safety. But I'm going to go with no as well. I think these guys are too good. They're not going to have the center for the Steelers back there hiking it 30 yards over everyone's head.
That's how the Browns game started. I knew it was on from there. That was a great memory. So that's funny. Yeah, that would. Do you know if prop bets? Do you get better odds for some of the long shot ones?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's why you can do like a prop bet parlay, and it's exponential.
Gotcha. That's what we're gonna have to do. All right. So let's say here, total players to attempt a pass, over or under 2.5. So there's going to be 2. You got Brady and Mahomes. Are they going to do a trick play? Is anyone going to throw a little Hardman pass or Travis Kelce tight end screen down the middle of the hill or anything like that?
I'm going to go no.
Okay, you're going
I just don't think these are the teams for that.
I mean, when you have Mahomes and Brady, why would you have somebody else throw the ball?
That's right.
But I'm a little crazy, and I'm going to go there is going to happen because I think Andy Reid is kind of nuts, and I kind of like it. So I'm going to go over there.
It's not a bad over bet because injuries can happen too. Guy can get knocked out for a couple plays, a series. You get another quarterback in there.
Everything you're saying is like going back to the Browns this year, and when Mahomes went out and Chad Henne came in, and they were like, anything is possible, and he beat the Browns himself. Chad Henne, can you believe that? All right, let's get down to some of these big
By the way,
ones.
there are some easy ones I see on here. Like I would take Tyreek Hill over Mike Evans yards all day.
You take Mike Evans over Tyreek Hill for yards?
Tyreek Hill over Evans all day.
Okay, I like that. Where's that one at? I'll just write it down. Okay. So I think, that's an easy one. I think it's going to be Hill over Evans. I think Hill's going to have a ton of yards. They do all those, Andy Reid does all those creative screen passes, and he uses the pass as the run. And I think that's pretty cool that he does that. All right, let's see.
I like this jersey number.
Jersey number of the
What do you
first
think of that
touchdown
one?
score. Over or under 24.5. I'm trying to think of the jersey. So, like, who are the ones under 24? You got Hill. He's under, right? What's Kelsey's number? Because Kelsey could be.
He's 87.
He's 87.
But Godwin, he's like 19 or something like that.
Yeah, he's
It's
under.
very interesting. But Evans is over.
Yeah.
Gronk is over. But the quarterbacks are under. The running backs are under. Oh, wait. Fournette's 27, right?
Fournette's 27, so he's over.
I'm going over.
I actually think the first one to score is going to be either Brady on a quarterback sneak that we talked about, or my man from Ohio, Travis Kelce. I love Travis Kelce. So I'm going to go under on that one. So Lucas takes the over, and I take the under. Will there be any big men touchdown? I love this one. It's probably not the smartest to bet on, but do you think any offensive or defensive tackles will score TD? The refrigerator Perry running one in.
Not with these teams. I don't see it. Like, I think about Tampa Bay when they get down there. They got Gronk. They got Brate. They got Evans. They have too many big receivers that can line up in that position. And then I don't see that a lot from Kansas City. They have too many weapons to gimmick down there. So I'm going to go no.
I'm going to agree with that one. You had me convinced with that way. So look at this one. I mean, they get them all crazy over here. Will Patrick Mahomes throw a pass with his left hand?
I would just skip this one. I can't trust anything Mahomes. He might throw one with his foot. I can't do it.
That's a fun one, but it's definitely one to stay away from if you're parlaying these. If you're doing all of these just for fun, that's kind of cool too, especially with the family. Like if you're gonna do it with your wife or your friends, and you're not do all of them, that's kind of fun as well.
Can you send me the link to this afterwards? I'm gonna print it out. I'm gonna have James fill this thing out. He'd love it.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Okay, let's get to a couple of the main ones, and we'll talk about a couple more topics. But what do you think the total points scored? I'm not so sure I would gamble on this either, odd or even, but it's kind of fun, right? I would definitely go with odd. I don't know why. It just seems like they end up that way. But I'm not a math guy, but I think of like 7 and 3 are a lot of the scores, and I think those usually end up being odd. And that could be very, very bad logic because there's a lot of 8s and 0s too.
7 and 3, by the way, is even because that adds up to 10. Just throw that out there.
I didn't do the math. I was just saying. Okay, I get it.
But it's the total points scored, so you got to add them up.
Oh yes.
Well, let's think about it. Like 7 and 4 would be an odd. 7 and 3 would be even. 5 and 8 would be odd. Like you need an odd and an even number for it to be. To be odd in the end.
Well, what do you think the score is going to be? I guess I can bring us to the score, and we can go backwards on some of this stuff.
I had a 38-35 just because I'm hoping for a good game, and I had that in favor of Kansas City, although I want Tampa Bay to win, so I'm going odd here.
Okay. I think it's going to be 35-31. I also think it's going to be high scoring, so that would put me as even, right? Is my math
Saw
right?
you hesitate to add it up.
Well, I was like 1 and 5.
You guys couldn't see that on camera, but I saw it.
Yes, I did pause. All right, so we got an even for Ian and an odd for Lucas. We're going to have to talk before we put the money on it, though, to figure out which ones we really want to parlay, but these will be fun for our own odds. So.
I say we do like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
When we parlay that.
All right, MVP position. Is it going to be quarterback or other? I'm going with quarterback. I think it's a pretty safe bet to bet on Brady or Mahomes on this one. But,
I'm
there
going
are
other,
some
man.
players. Are you really?
I'm going other. Here's why. I think that oftentimes with Brady, someone else would win the MVP, I think. It was like a Troy Brown. It was the defensive guy. There were just different things that could happen. And
Edelman
while I
won,
think
you're
Mahomes,
right. Edelman won on the big comeback. Yeah. Edelman won, I think, right?
And while I think Mahomes will put up 300 yards or so, Kelce will have 15 catches for 200 yards. And in that case, they'll go position player.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So that's
I like it. And I could
position.
see, I think Mahomes has a special connection with Kelce as well. Just like, I could see him wanting to get him the MVP award. You know what I mean? Mahomes is that kind of dude. He seems pretty selfless overall. He's going to be in a bunch of these and probably win a ton of awards. It would be cool. I don't know how many tight ends have won it as well. So I'm still going with
Yeah.
quarterback, but if it's not a quarterback, I think Travis Kelce would be my favorite to get it. He's just had a mammoth year, and the way they use him in the red zone is just really, really incredible. All the different formations and how he can get open. When they played the Browns, there was a play where we put Denzel Ward on him on a long third down, and Denzel Ward, if he's going to make a catch, I was like, okay, he's going to make a catch, but it's going to be physical over Ward. He's not going to shake him out of his boots because Ward is awesome. He shook Ward to the ground. That guy, he's like a wide receiver playing tight end for sure.
He's a beast.
He is. All right, color of the Gatorade bath. This would be fun. I'll be interested to see what James, your son, picks on this one. Red or clear, or any other outcome.
I like orange here.
Orange. Well, that would be any other. I actually
I'm
think
going.
blue. I think blue is going to be the color. So I'm going to have
Did
to
they
go any other
put blue
outcome
in
as
those
well.
things?
I mean, I like blue Gatorade, so that's why I'm saying that. So I have no idea if it is, but I'll go with any other. All right, I like that. So this will be fun. We'll pick a couple. We'll put a couple dollars on it and see how that works overall. And we'll bring it back next week when we do this and talk about who won this overall. Let me stop the share going. But that brings us to one of our other favorite things that we do. I don't know how long this has been going, so I want to make sure I don't kill you guys with time. But
we're good.
DraftKings. We play DraftKings. We play DraftKings. We play any kind. But Super Bowl.
I play it too much.
Yeah, me too, but not as much as you. It's cool because the Super Bowl brings everything together. Like a lot of people do the whole weekend. Oh yeah, that's a good amount. So, I did 65 this week, which is a lot for me. So,
well,
but
I'll tell you
why.
why.
You can do the weekends. You can do all Sunday games. But one of our favorites is always to do the showdown, which you take one game and you get a gamble on that one game because Sunday Night Football, even if you're not interested, it's fun. And now everybody's doing showdown. So, what is your strategy for the showdown DraftKings tonight? Pick everybody, or is there some players you really like?
So I have 10 lineups, and there's a $10 contest. First place is $1 million, and then the same exact contest where first place is 500,000. So I doubled down and entered the 10 lineups in each of them, which is how I got to that total you saw.
Gotcha.
And my strategy with this is I went a little diverse. Kelce is definitely my top captain. But I tried to find ways to get Mahomes and Brady in the same lineup. And so with that, you have to go with someone cheap, right? You have to find that person who's $1,000 or less that's going to put up some points. My big one was Johnson for Tampa Bay. He's a rookie, but you've seen like in the playoffs, he's gotten 3 or 4 chances per game, and they're always big play chances. And so I'm hoping he'll get like a sneaky touchdown or 3 catches for 50 yards, because that just opens you up to be able to have all those guys in there. So I did that. And then my secondary strategy was around Gronk, who, when they played earlier in the year, tore them up. It was his best game of the season. He really got a lot of points. He's in the 3,000 range. So when I actually made one lineup where he's captain, and that let me get Mahomes, Brady, Kelce, and Hill all in the same lineup.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty creative. I kind of did the same thing. I'm not a huge Gronk guy. I kind of like Brady a little bit more. He is questionable though. So it's he is going to play, but you never know when those questionable guys for the Super Bowl, they could be playing banged up and one hit and they're out. So I'm a little worried about that. So I may change some off Brady, but I like Brady with tight ends in big games.
I have a Brady and Gronk lineup, and I have Brady in more lineups than Gronk. I just think Gronk is the sneaky one. Like if he goes off, it could really boost you because he's cheap.
Yeah, I like that. So on my captains, and captains are 1.5 times the points and 1.5 times the cost. So if you want to get these players in there for anyone that's never done it, you need to the right captain is the only way to win, really. But you also have to have the right money on that captain, because otherwise you can't fit those other players in. So it's kind of like a twofold strategy. You want to make sure there's value there as well. But I did some crazy lineups because on some of these bigger ones, sometimes you can't break from the thing. I did like a Pringle, the wide receiver from Kansas City, as the captain. And that allowed me to get Mahomes, Brady, Kelce, and Godwin. And then, Scotty Miller, right? Scotty, right? I think it's Scotty Miller, but Scotty Miller's only $3,400 overall. So I have him in a good amount of lineups as well. It's really dependent to me as if Antonio Brown is going to play or if he's halfway going to play. I know they say he's going to play, but you just don't know what you're going to get from Antonio Brown. And he's kind of a wild card for them. It's always like, should I pick Godwin or should I pick Evans? And then all of a sudden they start throwing it to him, Antonio Brown, and you never know what receiver to pick. I have trouble with picking the right receivers with the Bucs. Yeah, I like it. A couple other ones. If you're looking for sneaky players, I always like, Ronald Jones was their lead back for Tampa Bay all year long. Now, they calling it, playoff Lenny or Super Bowl Lenny, as Leonard Fournette's really showed up in the playoffs, but he does have an injury history, and Ronald Jones is only $2,200. So if you're trying to play a lot of these lineups to get Mahomes and Brady in there, you're going to need to find these sneaky Kelseys, and one of the ones I tried to do one of this lineup where I loaded up all the big guys and I only had like $800 left. I threw Le'Veon Bell in. Le'Veon Bell, the reason I did that is because sometimes in the red zone, Andy Reid has really creative plays and they throw to players or give it to players that you wouldn't expect to get the ball. And I think Bell could score a sneaky touchdown. And if you can get a touchdown out of an $800 player, that's a big value play and allows you to get all your money on the Tom Brady's and Kelce's in there.
I'm with you. That's always the hardest one. Sometimes I think about with that too. Do you load up on like the two kickers and then fill up around them because they're going to get points no matter what? So do you build? Are you able to build that way? I mean, both those guys average over 10 points. I feel like per game, and so you got two guys at 30. I think they're 36 and 3,800 that get you 10 points each, and then you can fill in around them.
Well, especially if you think we just said the score is going to be 38-31 or 35-31,
right?
It's going to be over 60 points. That's going to be 4 or 5 touchdowns per team each, which means there's going to be extra points. So they get a point for every extra point. Throwing a couple field goals, and you already got 10 points there. So kickers could be a great play to make sure that you can get all the big names in there as well. So I should relook at that and see if I can get a kicker in some of these lineups instead of going a lot of Pringle and you never know with those players. I just think that this showdown is one of the most fun ones because I think all the big names are going to show up. And it's just what combination of the big names do you have? You have to have Hill in lineups. You have to have Kelce. You got to have Godwin. You got to have Evans. You got to have some Bray. It's just who knows who's going to get the touchdowns because these
can't have them all together.
Yeah, you got to spread them out and have the right ones hit. This is live streaming on Twitch as well, which is kind of cool. We're going to try out some different platforms. We're going to do YouTube TV. We're going to do or not YouTube TV. That'd be really cool. If we get really big, we're going to go YouTube TV, but we're going to do YouTube. We'll try some Twitch, because we're into gaming. So we'll talk some gaming. So here's the Lazy Assassin, which is Lucas's Call of Duty handle. And you'll learn more about that as we go. But here are his lineups.
All right. So here's what I got going on, Ian.
1 second. Let me share my screen so they can see what we're talking about here. There we go.
Oh, I just took over. Okay. All right. So you can see I got quite a mix. It's a lot of Brady. This one's one of my favorites right here, this Kelce Hill with Brady and his team. So it's like those two are going to go off and then Tampa's going to play catch up. That's what this lineup right here is. This is my Gronk where I was able to sneak in a bunch of big players. I got a lot of Tyreek Hill. You can see I snuck in a Chiefs defense one. Even if it's a blowout, sometimes there's like a pick six, and then all of a sudden the defense becomes really valuable, and they were pretty cheap. They're in like the 2,600 range.
Yeah.
And then I did one running backs one because I always feel like in these games, the running backs won't matter. Like I got to go for the big names, and then the running backs are the ones who scoop up all the touchdowns. So I was just like, let me just do one. And you could see even with that, like I was able to get Hill and Godwin and Hardman and Bray. Like that's kind of a cool group to get into a lineup. And so if they run up big,
a lot of thought in it. I usually don't put as much thought as you do, but that makes a lot of sense because especially, you get down on the one, they're going to hand the ball off. They're not dumb. These teams are got some of the best coaching and offensive minds in the business going.
Well, and the other thing you got to think about sometimes is like, how do I win? Because everyone's going to have the lineup where you use all the salary, right? Like so many people are going to have this lineup. This lineup, I have 1,700 remaining. not a lot of people are going to sit there and be like, oh, let me just pick this group when I have all this money left, because I could sub out any of these players for like a Patrick Mahomes or something like that. So then it increases your chance to win the big money if you have a lineup that you think most people won't do. And that's the other part with, if you're playing, there's two ways to play DraftKings, right? There's these big contests with a ton of people in there, and then there's head-to-head matchups. If you're playing head-to-head matchups or 50-50s, you want to go with a safe lineup. Like, I know these people are going to get points. I'm going to get to my 50-50 and win my money. If you're going for $1 million, you got to have some lineups that are like, no one else will think of this lineup. Like your Pringle one. And so I actually have a chance at $1 million. Like, I can tell you right now, when I look at this lineup with Mahomes and Brady in it, this lineup could win. I'm going to split it with 1,000 people.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Like, I know
that's a great point.
I have some of those.
I am that guy. I am the average remaining salary. If it's high, I freak out and I go find out, like, who can I spend this money on? I never like to have any money in the bank, but every week the winner usually has money in the bank. So that's really good advice there. And thinking about what I learned from you when I talk DraftKings, and I think people can take away from this, is thinking about how the game is going to be played, right? You have the running back play. You have the team gets out ahead and they come back. There's the late pick six touchdown. Even the best quarterbacks have that happen to them. I remember Peyton Manning's done that. Everyone's trying to come back. They force balls in when they're trying to come back. So it's pretty cool that you set your lineups based on how the game can outplay. I think that's really cool to know. So DraftKings, big topic for us. Our end of the year is football. I know some people play basketball and stuff like that. I stick to football. I do a little bit of other stuff, but mainly football. All right. Well, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I got some things going on. I'm sure everybody else does, but we got to talk about one last thing. It's Super Bowl food. I love the barbecue. I have some baby back ribs on right now in my smoker. I'm going to wrap them up, and I learned to put a little brown sugar in there, a little bit of apple juice. I would say my favorite Super Bowl food is actually ribs or wings. Wings just because you can eat it with your hands. Ribs because my kids actually love the ribs. So that always means a lot to me when the kids can eat my food, because a lot of times they won't eat my food. So what is your favorite Super Bowl food, snack, that type of thing?
So I love, you ever get jalapenos and you like gut them out and you put some cheese and some bacon in there and you kind of melt it like that? Oh, that's my go-to. If that's at the party, I'm gonna find that plate and go hide in the bathroom and eat it all.
There we go.
So good. But
I can do that with barbecue.
We'll
top it up and we'll wrap it with bacon, and I'll smoke that for you. We'll do that. That's pretty cool.
Super Bowl in Ohio next year. Let's do it.
Hopefully, we haven't seen each other in forever because of this crazy pandemic, and you're from California, I'm from Ohio. But this is pretty cool. This has been fun. It's super early in the West Coast for you, and it's midday for me, so it's kind of cool that we made this work.
Got church in 5 minutes.
Hey, we're gonna get you there. Make sure that you get your God in before the Super Bowl. That's a great day. Family, love of God, love of football. It's gonna be a great day for you, Lucas. But this has been fun. Anyone that watches this and ever wants us to explore a topic, that's great. But our main topics are going to be family, friends, football, fantasy, some video games, some barbecue, just lifestyle about two guys in their mid-30s trying to make it through a pandemic.
That's right. That's two guys aging right there.
Two guys aging. I think I called it the wrong name to start, but we'll remember the first podcast to start for a long time.
Yeah, you kept saying two aging guys, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I guess that doesn't make as much sense. But two aging guys or two guys aging, whatever it is, it's a lot of fun. But all right, Lucas, this has been episode 1 down, and we're going to try to do this weekly, I believe. So hopefully we get some listeners, and we'll be on YouTube here shortly.